Anyone who is free from giddy spells and excessive short sight can learn to drive, or at least have a go. Only 63 years ago, motorists were not so free. You couldn't drive a horseless carriage on the Queen's Highway unless a man with a red flag walked in front. In those 63 years, cars have progressed from just over walking speed to a comfortable 90. In the same period, over 8 million people have been killed or injured on the roads of Great Britain. That's not far short of the population of Greater London. The driving test makes sure that people are reasonably safe before they can go out on their own, though they can go on driving with a license holder and as many passengers as they like, just so long as they keep renewing their L permit. Some learners don't look as though they'll ever pass the test. Of course, it's never the driver's fault when he or she fails the test. It's always sheer bad luck, or the examiner was nicked. Last year, rather more than half the learners got through their driving tests, which means simply that they were considered safe enough to be allowed out solo. However, there are always the lads who whip off their L plates and think they're qualified to try out Silverstone tactics in the local high street. It isn't only fast vehicles that cause accidents. You have to pass a test to drive any kind of mechanically propelled vehicle on the road. Even though this chap can never go fast, he still needs to be on the lookout to avoid accidents. Many drivers learn through a school. There are several thousands to choose from, and anyone with a current driving license can set up a school, though not every school is recognized by such bodies as these. On a motor scooter, you can't have the added safety of dual control, so instead, these pupils are brought up to standard on the track before they're allowed on the highway. Even if they don't all learn to drive on the road, at least they'll be able to take part in gymkhanas. Remember that woman who failed her test? She's decided to learn properly before she goes again. And this school won't let her near a real car until she's learned what makes a clutch engage or not. On an ingenious mock-up car, she demonstrates her own special method of steering. Then, by learning to follow a moving light, she picks up the right idea. Now, her reactions to all sorts of hazards are tested by other gadgets on this versatile training machine. By the time she gets back on the road, she'll know a lot more than she did. Another school has quite a different kind of indoors test car. This is to find out how far disabled drivers are still capable of driving. Instruments register how much pressure the patient can put on the wheel and pedals. Then special attachments are made. This grip for gear and steering wheels enables a man with no hands to carry on driving. For those with artificial legs, this steering column brake provides perfect safety. It's never too early to learn. Many grammar schools with enough space in the grounds now take advantage of the junior driver course. By the time the pupil is old enough to go on the road, he'll probably be a better driver than Mum and Dad, though he'd better not say so. From the learners to the experts, the chief examiner of the Institute of Advanced Motorists shows how not to pull up. And then the correct way. It's all a matter of easing off the brakes for the last few inches. If you want to check how smooth your driving is, try putting a glass of water on the bonnet. Start up, change your way through the gearbox, and get up to a speed of 40 or 50 miles an hour. Then stop. And if the glass is still full, you can reckon you're pretty smooth. Real smooth. Another driving fault which makes many advanced motorists fail the test is bad steering. This is how the wheel should really be handled. The Institute claims that only one motorist in 100 approaches a bend the right way. Don't go in fast and come out on the wrong side of the road, says the chief examiner, but go in slow and come out fast. And here's how he explains it.
As you approach a right-hand bend, keep well into the near side for maximum visibility, brake in the straight, into the correct gear, drive round it all the way under power, but don't start to straighten it until you can see the end of the curve.
At police driving schools like this one at Chelmsford, which looks after 20 different forces, models are used to demonstrate the possible causes of accidents and teach drivers how to avoid them. When they learn driving on the road, police drivers have to give a running commentary on what they're doing and why.
Still following this vehicle ahead at a speed of 30 miles an hour in this restricted area. There's a pedal cyclist, stationary vehicles, one opposing vehicle. Still checking the mirror, there's vehicles behind. Slow down, signal.
Police cars may have to go fast, very fast, in all kinds of weather. An essential part of the police driver's training is how to cope with a skid. This skid pad with oil and water to make it really tricky gives them plenty of practice. Some of the safest vehicles in the world are London buses. And handling a monster this size, full of passengers, is quite a different matter. But all learner drivers have to go through the ordeal by skid before they qualify. And here a veteran shows just what can be done. But perhaps the greatest lesson in road safety they are taught is this. Never go faster than the speed you're safe at. And always remember that the other fellow may not be sober or even sane.